Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today, we're diving into some truly fascinating and often overlooked moments from the World War's facts that will not only surprise you, but might change how you think about history. Let's get started. 1. The British citizen versus the army, the courtroom story. During the Second World War, in the midst of a devastating conflict, one ordinary British citizen decided to take legal action against the British Army. You see, the UK's military was using a nearby civilian airport for their operations after their own airbase had been bombed by the Germans. But this citizen was disturbed by the constant noise of military aircraft flying overhead. The man, who had his family to think about, complained in court, asking for some peace and quiet. What makes this case so extraordinary? The judge actually agreed with him. Yes, the court ruled in favor of the citizen, acknowledging that the Army's use of the civilian airfield violated the tranquility of his property. This is an incredibly rare example of civilian rights being upheld even in the middle of a world war. And it's a powerful reminder of the balance between wartime necessity and personal freedoms. 2. The Great Escape's secret tunnel. Moving on to another remarkable, the Second World War story, we find ourselves inside a German POW camp. In 1943, prisoners of war began digging a tunnel beneath the Stalag 13 sea camp. Over 76 men participated in this daring escape attempt, using nothing but basic tools and sheer determination. But here's the kicker. One of the men, a tailor by profession, sewed a full German uniform from scratch to help disguise one of the escapees. The ingenuity of the plan was remarkable, but unfortunately, only a few made it out. However, the Great Escape still stands as a symbol of resilience, bravery, and the indomitable spirit of those imprisoned. It was later immortalized in the iconic 1963 film, The Great Escape. 3. The Miracle of Dunkirk, the Little Ships. Let's head over to the beaches of Dunkirk in 1940. Picture this. Over 330,000 British and French soldiers stranded on the beach, surrounded by German forces closing in. It's a desperate situation, right? But here's where it gets incredible. Civilians, ordinary British citizens, mobilized their personal boats, including fishing boats and yachts, to help evacuate the troops. These little ships of Dunkirk braved the dangerous waters, crossing enemy lines to rescue their comrades in arms. Their courage turned the tide of the war, and this impromptu flotilla became a symbol of British perseverance and community spirit. What started as a disastrous situation became one of the most remarkable rescue operations in military history. 4. The Phantom Army of Second World War. Have you ever heard of the Ghost Army? During the Second World War, the Allies created a phantom army to deceive the Germans. This wasn't an army of soldiers, but a group of artists, sound engineers, and other creative professionals tasked with fooling the enemy. They used inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and even elaborate sound effects to make the Germans think large Allied forces were positioned in places they were not. This creative deception played a crucial role in misdirecting German forces and contributed to the success of the D-Day landings. It's a fascinating example of how creativity and resourcefulness can be as powerful as military might. 5. The Christmas Truce of 1914. Imagine this. It's Christmas Eve, 1914, in the middle of the First World War. The soldiers on both sides of the Western Front, exhausted from months of brutal trench warfare, do something extraordinary. They spontaneously call a temporary truce. Soldiers from the British and German armies met in no man's land, exchanging gifts, singing Christmas carols, and even playing football together. Despite the unimaginable horrors of war, for a brief moment, humanity prevailed. The Christmas Truce is one of the most heartwarming and poignant events of the war, an unforgettable symbol of shared humanity even in the darkest times. 6. The Soviet Union's Night Witches. Now, let's talk about a group of incredible women known as the Night Witches. During the Second World War, the Soviet Union formed an all-female squadron, officially called the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. These women flew night bombing missions in old, noisy biplanes, often cutting their engines to glide silently over German positions. Their stealthy tactics and relentless courage struck fear into the German forces. The Night Witches became a legendary force, with their contributions proving that courage knows no gender. Their bravery changed the perception of women in warfare forever. 7. The Nazi U-boat that helped the Allies. Here's a bizarre twist in Second World War history. The story of the German U-boat U-530. After Germany's surrender in May 1945, U-530 didn't immediately return to Germany as expected. Instead, it sailed all the way to Argentina, where its crew sought refuge. The Germans on board were unaware that the war had officially ended and were confused by the sudden ceasefire. This strange act of defection remains one of the more mysterious footnotes of the war's conclusion, with its implications still debated by historians. 8. The D-Day landings. The role of a single explosive device. Let's return to June 6, 1944, the day the Allies landed on the beaches of Normandy. The D-Day landings are often remembered as a heroic and meticulously planned operation. But one small incident played a huge role in its success. A German bomb, planted in a critical location on the beach, failed to detonate. This failure allowed the Allied forces to establish their foothold without facing the full force of the German defenses. It's an example of how one small event in the heat of battle can change the course of history. 9. The Manhattan Project, a nuclear revolution. Let's shift gears to something that forever altered the course of history: the Manhattan Project. In a top-secret effort during the Second World War, the United States, with the help of scientists from all over the world, developed the first nuclear bombs. The project's secrecy and the incredible minds behind it have become legendary. The atomic bombs they created were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, leading to the end of the Pacific War. But what is often overlooked is the incredible collaboration between scientists, many of whom were refugees fleeing Nazi persecution. Their work forever changed global warfare and the very nature of power. 10. The Unknown Soldiers. The Battle of the Somme. Finally, let's talk about one of the largest and deadliest battles in the First World War, the Battle of the Somme. Over 1 million soldiers were either killed, wounded, or went missing. What's often forgotten, however, is the role played by civilians. Many civilian volunteers, tasked with repairing trenches and performing dangerous missions, found themselves caught in the middle of the fighting. This highlights the unseen sacrifices made by ordinary people during the war and the often forgotten role civilians played in supporting military operations. History is filled with amazing and often overlooked stories like these. Moments of incredible bravery, creativity, and sacrifice that changed the course of the world. I hope these stories give you a new perspective on the wars that shaped our modern world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible historical stories. Thanks for watching.